Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mike here at Game from Scratch. And today we were talking about a game released in 2010. It's called Amnesia: The Dark Descent. And on top of that, there is another game, Machine for Pigs, I believe it was called. And this here, you can see it in action. This is Amnesia, and the distortion effect you were seeing. Yeah, that's part of the game. That's actually a somewhat unfortunate part of the game at times, but that is definitely part of the game. And this is a horror game. It's actually, to be honest, I am not really good at these kind of games because, well, horror games scare the crap out of me, if I'm honest. And Amnesia got me too. Playing this one alone in the dark with your headphones on, and it was a pretty terrifying experience, if I'm honest about things. So basically, this is Amnesia. Here, open up the door. We can walk around a little bit more, and it's at times it's a bit of a janky game, but it's a very successful indie title. And the reason we were talking about it is because they just remade this one available open source. That's right. It is now available under the GPL v3 license. It's not free. This doesn't mean you can suddenly get the game for free. You still have to download it. You don't get the assets. And yep, that blurry, scared effect thing. That is very much a part of the game. And to be honest, it kind of made me sick while playing it. So, anyways, let's head on over and look at the web page. It is actually currently loading. Their server is under heavy load right now. So if you come here and you get an error message on this page, just give it a, actually don't keep reloading it because they're getting clobbered. So let's not clobber them some more. And the key thing is they released the source code. It's up on GitHub. So those are the links you're going to want. I'm going to link both those in the linked article down below. Again, it is not suddenly free, but the source code is. It's under the GPL license. GPL basically means if you make any changes to the source code, you have to also release your source code changes under the GPL license. It's called an infective license. I'm not going to get into the details of the GPL 3, but if you're trying to release source code that you basically don't want people to commercialize, GPL is a good choice in that regard. So they've feels like we could release source code a long time ago. Unfortunately, there has always been something else to attend to, but now that Amnesia: The Dark Descent has its 10th anniversary and Amnesia Rebirth is less than a month away, we couldn't wait any longer. We are all really excited to see what comes out of it. The modding community has been incredibly creative over the years, and it will be fun to see what it can do with the full source code at its disposal. I hope this release can be a help to anyone wanting to create their own engine or just wanting to learn more about the game programming. While the code is not the greatest in places and the tech used is not the latest, it is fully contained game engine in a fairly easy to use, understand package, easy to understand package. It is a testament that it is possible to do this sort of thing even with a very limited team. Features include shadow mapping with soft edges, real-time visibility calling, automatic render batch systems of static objects, deferred shading systems, a full editor with lots of interesting features such as a picking algorithm and view fitting, simple state machine AI gives rise to interesting and intelligent agents, fairly advanced system for physics sounds, physics-based interaction system, own sound system implemented using OpenAL, and lots of other basics, rendering, and gameplay tech, all implemented in a coherent engine structure. So you're wondering, what engine is this in? Well, if there weren't spoilers in that description, the answer is no engine. It's actually a kind of a throwback in some ways. It's an all-in-one game. There's not even, when you come in and check out the source, there's not even an engine category. Everything is basically in game. And so what you do, basically come on in here and clone it. It comes with a Visual Studio 2010 project. I didn't try and do an auto conversion to 2019, by the way, but Visual Studio 2010 plus CMake based for Linux and Mac developers. And of course, I have downloaded the source code, and here it is. What you do, basically open it up. Everything, as I mentioned earlier on, is in game. So the first thing you're going to want to do is come in here, search the source code base for how many times they swore. This is how things always start when you get publicly released source code. And you will notice in the manpig documentation, or the manpig code, there is a variable named Tesla Mind Beep. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So there's not a lot of really crude comments, but hey, don't kid yourself. This is what you were going to do too, wasn't it? But once you've actually jumped in and grabbed the source code, you're probably going to wonder how to make sense of it. This one is actually really easy to understand because almost always what I do is I search for where the main is, where the entry game loop is. And well, here it is. It's that simple. It's in main.cpp. And you can see here, the GP base is initialized, run, and then exit. So the bulk of your game loop is going to be in GP base run. If you're curious, GP base is of class C Lux base. Everything has the Lux prefix. So then you go here. So you want to go naturally through the flow of execution, try and figure out how things are happening. You will load up either the header file, which you can see kind of like a top level of what's going on here, or we can jump right into the code here. And this is basically the heartbeat of the game. So we come down here, there's going to be a init game. So there's how the game is set up. Here's all the various different objects that are in place. You can basically just kind of loop back from there and find out all the various different pieces in action. But this is the setup code. These are all the various different handlers that are in place. And then you're going to find run, I think it was called. Run. Yeah, there we go. So here is the heart of your game. It is run. And here you can see it is under MP Engine, run. Now we got to find MP Engine. So here is a bit of a GP base. All right, let's go here. MP Engine is of class C engine. And now we just have to find, I don't know what header C engine is actually in, but that is more or less how I start walking through and making sense of the source code base. I always try to find the entry point, the main loop, and then go from there. I'm not sure where C engine is. I'm not actually sure if that's something that is omitted. Now, one thing that they have done pretty consistently here, and this is a practice that I really don't like, is they don't match the name necessarily to the header file that things are in. So you see here a bunch of forward declares, etc., going on here. But I generally like when the name of the class is the name of the file. And I've also seen a couple of these files actually have multiple classes in them. It's something that we really kind of shy away from doing now. But it was quite a bit more common there. It just kind of makes it harder to figure out where things actually are. So the actual name of the file that the engine is in, I'm not entirely certain. But I guess we could hunt that down at a later point, and that would be your next logical place to go. But at least you saw what you want to do is basically start in main. Main leads off to Lux base, and just kind of go from there. You can sort of see how all the code works, how everything works together. So you've got a self-contained project here. At the same time, we head on back over here. There is Amnesia: The Dark Descent also under their GitHub directory. There is also a machine for pigs. Oh, wait. Looks like the engine is separate project. No, this is 11 years ago. Okay, it does not look like that. So I'm not 100% certain where the engine code is. I'll have to dig in a little bit further to try and figure that out. But yeah, that is essentially Amnesia: The Dark Descent and A Machine for Pigs. Both source codes have been released, GPL v3 license. I'd love to see older games do this stuff. We can always learn from other people's code and coding style, even if it's quite a bit different from your own, or maybe it's a little bit outdated because it was again made 10 years ago. But it's an all-in-one integrated project with no external dependencies like on Unity or Unreal or anything like that. And those are getting progressively rarer and rarer to come by. So that is it. Amnesia: The Dark Descent source code is now available out there. You still need to go ahead and buy Amnesia or A Machine for Pigs if you want to actually play your changes. This is going to be more useful for people that want to learn from the code or that want to mod the game. But if you already have a license for it, you should be able to you have all of the assets and binaries you need to make this work. And yeah, hopefully you found that interesting. Let me know what you think of Amnesia. Did you play this game? Again, I can't play horror games. They terrify me way more. I can watch any horror movie ever under the sun, but playing these games, oh, it's so terrifying to me. Like even fear got me like freaked out. And yeah, pretty much all of them. Dead Space, Amnesia, etc. They all kind of really got to me. So not my strong suit for playing these kind of games. But what do you think of it? What do you think of the source code? And yeah, that's it. Talk to you all later. Goodbye.